Ladies and gentlemen, meet the brand spanking new 2017 Mazda 6. And this sedan, as you know, competes in one of the most popular car segments in the automotive biz, the mid-size sedan segment, which includes very popular cars like the Camry, the Accord, and the Altima. And yet, this is the slowest selling car in that segment. And the question is why? Well, coming up next on the Fast Lane Car, we're going to answer that question together. This year so far, Toyota sold about 355,000 Camrys. Now, Mazda sold about 41,000 Mazda 6s in that same time frame. Let me put that into perspective for you. That means that every day Toyota sells over 1,000 Camrys, whereas Mazda sells about, give or take, 100 Mazda 6s per day. Perhaps the reason this Mazda 6 doesn't sell so well is right here under the hood. It's a Skyactiv 4-cylinder. Now, for $34,000, that's okay, but if you were to spend less money, you could get in the Accord a 6-cylinder, in the Camry a 6-cylinder, in the Altima a 6-cylinder, in the Fusion a turbo. Instead, here we have 184 horsepower and 185 pound-foot of torque that in this case is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission that of course powers the front wheels. So perhaps it has to do with the driving experience. You know, I've been lucky enough to drive every car in the segment, so I'm very familiar with how the competitors drive. And I can tell you this right away, this by far is my favorite car of the bunch to drive. It is the sportiest, it is the most responsive, it has the best reflexes, it is the athlete of the group. There can be no doubt about that. And it just gets better when you sit down. I mean, as the British would say, this interior is just delicious. It has scrumptious, all right, that's enough of the food, I must be hungry. It has a beautiful, elegant, and sexy interior that I think is not only class leading, but puts a huge smile on my face every time I sit down behind the steering wheel. It's just, well, it's just beautiful. So maybe the reason this car doesn't sell more is because of its fuel economy. Now, I've been driving this car for, well, look over here. 88.4 miles, and I've gotten 35.9 mpg. That's pretty phenomenal for a mid-size sedan. Granted, that's been mainly on the highway, but nevertheless, almost 36 miles to the gallon is quite remarkable. But usually, when a car gets really good fuel economy, it doesn't do so well from 0 to 60. So maybe the reason it doesn't sell is because it's slow. Well, there's one way to find out. I've got the Solo DL set up. I've got the car in sport mode, and let's see how it does from 0 to 60 up here at a mile above sea level. Come on, Mazda, I'm cheering for you. Let's go. And there's 60. So we did go a little quicker, 9.42. Keep in mind, if you're at sea level, that'd be about an 8.5 second time. We're usually about a second slower up here at a mile above sea level. But nevertheless, 8.5 seconds from 0 to 60 is nothing that's going to set the world on fire. All right, so we know it's one of the less powerful cars in this segment. But look at it, it's beautiful. I mean, it's low, it's wide. Gosh, it's sexy. It's got to be one of the best looking, if not the best looking car in the segment. Isn't that enough to sell more than 41,000 units a year? The steering is direct and responsive. The brakes are linear. The seating position is what you want from a car that aspires to be athletic. It's not just an appliance that you take to work. It's not a car you drive because you have to. It's a car you drive because you want to. And, you know, I don't know what more of a definition you want for fun to drive than that. It is one of my favorite cars. It is one of the most fun to drive cars in this segment. It's just a hoot. So here's the thing. A base Camry starts at about $23,000. The Mazda 6 starts at about $22,000. So it's actually $1,000 cheaper. So if you're thinking that maybe it's because the Mazda is more expensive, well, you'd be wrong. Now you probably know this, but the Volkswagen Passat has the largest seat in the segment. So maybe the reason people aren't buying the Mazda 6 is because it's tight back here. You know, I'm 6'2", and look at this. I fit. I have plenty of knee room. I'm sitting behind myself. There's a comfortable handrest here, armrest, and look at this. We even have heated rear seats. Yeah, it's not enormous back here, but it's certainly not uncomfortable for a big guy like me. So why isn't the Mazda 6 selling more? Well, some people say it's because it has a much smaller dealer network. Some people think it's because of brand or car awareness. And of course, there's the fact that it doesn't have a V6. I think it's probably because of all of those reasons. But the irony is that car should be selling a hell of a lot more because it's a great car that's a lot of fun to drive. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, underdog real world reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.